So what was something about my industry that I learned in this class that I didn't know before? The first thing I learned about my profession is the two different sides of my profession, the web developer and the web designer. At first, I thought this was all one degree, web design development. Then I realized that web design and web development were two completely different things. Web design focused more on the front end aspect of the website, and web development more on the back programmable end of the website. I also ended up learning which direction I want to go in. As much as I love design, art, I'm also a big fan of programmable software, and I wanted to be able to be the one who created that interactive media. So I'm going to focus, as much as I love design, I'm going to focus more on that web development aspect. That assignment 2.3 concerning industry growth really made me look into the future of my career. One thing I realized a whole lot was that my career is going to absolutely change within the next 5 to 10 years. There's going to be a point where I'm not necessarily just designing for computers, but I'm also going to be designing for everything that has a smart application to it, which can drastically change my field in the future. Did this course help confirm my decision to pursue my degree? Absolutely, and even more, it helped me decide what part of my degree I wanted to pursue, the web development aspect like I mentioned earlier. The one assignment I thought was really helpful was 2.3, industry growth. It kind of convinced me to take a more in-depth look into what the future of my industry was going to look like. Kind of giving me a chance to plan ahead and decide what I need to do in order to be successful over the next 15 to 20 years. For instance, learn how to build apps. One thing I would add to this course is maybe some live lectures. My last class was in digital literacy, and I had Professor Huber. He didn't necessarily make them mandatory, but he gave us the option of attending once or twice a week a live class to where he sat there on a web tool, and we did anything from Skype to get on a classroom basis where we could actually ask him questions live, and he walked us through a lot of what was happening that week. It was really nice to kind of learn from him live, and as opposed to reading everything out of a book. One thing I didn't necessarily find useful about this course was the fact that the due date represented at most a B. I understand how you were hitting up the professionalism aspect by making us outdo the normal due date in order to get that perfect grade. But on the other hand, if you were trying to portray a professional atmosphere, a employer, for instance, would not fault me for turning in my work on Friday if it were due Friday, and it was all in good order. He might give me extra credit by turning it in on Wednesday and doing above average, but he sure as anything wouldn't take anything away from me by turning it in at the appointed date. If for some reason you wanted, I'm not saying you should add extra credit, but if for some reason you really wanted to throw it in there, and as far as getting work done early, I feel like that should go more towards the professional grade as opposed to the GPA. But like I said, I understand where you're coming from. All in all, it was a good class and I enjoyed it. I also learned a lot about these other industries that I'm probably going to be intertwined with throughout the rest of my career. It went a far way as far as integrating with a lot of these classmates, and kind of getting a interconnectivity with them, and doing a lot of networking in the process. It gives me a good insight on who I should be keeping in touch with for the future, kind of create myself a more successful career.